Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to continue working on my LS3 swap. I have some back bumpers, front bumpers, trim pieces that I need to sand and get it ready for paint. We're just trying to get this car on the road and we're preparing it for that. But let's begin by checking out the custom engine mounts that we've been working on since we are not using the CX Racing engine mounts anymore. So let's go check them out. So as we can see there, it's using the original BMW rubber mount.
And there's space for the steering rack. And there's space for the oil filter relocation kit that we're probably gonna run. The oil cooler that we're gonna run through here. All that stuff we've got space, even if we wanna tuck any wiring. Alternator goes right here. Connectors for that. We've got space for days. The only thing that we still need to do, I'm probably gonna space the mounts up a little bit higher. So we'll put like a spacer, we'll weld it in onto this. Underneath the mount, and then another spacer on top of the mount before it attaches to this. I need to make a cutout on the top or a window right here so we can get to the top nut for this mount. Same thing on this side. This side's also gonna have a spacer underneath, spacer on top. This one already has the cutout for the nut for the mount, cutout up here so we can put the actual bolts to the block. And this side is a lot more space, so we might run the transmission cooler lines right through here. And then the transmission cooler will be up here. The AC compressor is going to go right here. For right now, I'm not sure if we're going to put the AC on. We are going to be utilizing the stock Camaro compressor. We were originally going to use the BMW one, make a custom bracket and do all that. But I think now we're just going to stick with the stock LS, and I'll just figure out a way to retrofit the whole electronics part of that.
So here are the engine mounts that he made. Yep.
This is just the bottom part though. This is like, and then you guys got to understand, this is out of just box tubing and a plate. Same with this. This one's a little bit more advanced. This one took a little bit longer. It's a couple of plates together, and I mean they're all welded really well. It's really strong. It's not gonna go anywhere. But maybe reason I pulled it back out is I'm gonna actually grind down the subframe section, and we're actually gonna weld this bottom plate to the subframe. Main reason we're doing that is so just give it some more strength. And I mean I don't think it's gonna move anyways, but might as well be safe rather than sorry. And there's still enough access to the control arm, there's access to the engine mount nuts, and there's a lot more space with these than there were with the CX Racing mounts. And they do not take off any threads off of the control arm ball joints either. But you guys gotta understand, these are the first ones we've ever made, and these are the first prototypes. So we're gonna test them, make sure that that's how we want them, make sure these mounts don't sag too much, make sure there's no fitment issues or anything like that. So until we have all that, until we've driven on it and we can test them, after that we'll pull them back off and then finalize the whole design and then go from there. We're not sure if we're gonna ever sell them or anything like that. We might. It all depends on how everything else goes.
Let me show you my front bumper that we recently bought at Mod Bargains. So it's this one here. I haven't even seen it, to be honest. Let's rip it open. And here it is. It is the CSL bumper with splitters, as you can see there. It even has carbon fiber splitters on both sides. Yep, so I decided to go with this one. I don't know, I love the style of it. And we can use this hole here for an air intake, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, I just have to scuff it up and get it ready for paint. So let me go ahead and show you the back bumper that I will be installing on my car since I'm not keeping the stock one that is currently on the car. Let me go show it to you. Alright, so here is my rear bumper. It is the Mtech one. We got it off a parts car that we had, so I decided to save it for myself. I do need to, since I'm holding it with my leg, but since I am going to have quad tips on my exhaust, I will need to custom make another cutout. As you can see, there's a cutout already there. Well, I have to make another one on this side, and then I just have to, what was that? So yeah, I'm pretty sure I can remove the diffuser somehow, so I will do that, and then remove all this wiring for the rear sensors, and then just sand it down, make the paint all even, and then we can get it ready to paint. Oh, and also here's a CSL bumper that I bought at the thrift store. I mean, oh my god, let me just start over. So here's my CSL trunk that I bought at the salvage, oh my god. So here's my CSL trunk that I bought at the scrapyard. I found it for a good deal, got it for 50 bucks. So the main problem is that it's like broken here. But I feel like I can fill that in and it won't be noticed once it's painted. So yeah, that's about it. Here's little breaks here, scratches here and there, especially here. But honestly, for 50 bucks, can't go wrong. So yeah, I have to take off all the parts off of this as well and get it ready for paint. So while I was sanding, Jason went ahead and already welded in the mounts that he'd made. So as you can see there and there. And he also gave it a few coats of black paint. So that's cool. Alright, so as you can see, it got dark outside, so I stopped sanding for a bit, which is fine because I want to try on the trunk on my car to see if it fits properly or if we need to make any adjustments before we paint. So I will do that in a second. But yeah, there's a lot of things that I want to fix in this trunk. For example, as you can see, the holes here for the trunk emblem do not line up. So I really want to fill in these holes and then re-drill the holes so that they're even, so the emblem is not crooked, which is typical for these aftermarket trunks. But yeah, I really do want to fix that. And then I also want to make sure if the holes for the license plate are even. But yeah, I got bored of the trunk already, so I think I'm gonna move on to the bumper. Okay, so the bumper, I just need to pretty much scuff it up since it's already, since it doesn't have any paint on it. I do want to try to remove the splitters so I don't get paint on those, since I do want to keep them black. But yeah, so before paint, now I actually have the opportunity to make it how I want. And I really hate this part here on the bumper where you attach the license plate. So I really do want to remove this, even it out. I don't think I'm ever going to put a license plate in the front. So yeah, I'm going to figure something out to fill in these holes as well to make it all smooth and even before paint. Alright, so this is where I will begin narrating because I did not feel like being on camera. But basically, I started by sanding it down, but then I realized that that wasn't working very well. So then I decided to cut it. So here we have Jason. He's cutting around it, making sure that I'll be able to do it on the other side. So he cut a perfect square. As you can see, he just pushed it out. And let me just say, at this moment, I was like, should I have just left them alone? Because this just seems like it's not going to come out perfect. But just know that I'll be the very first person to tell you if something looks bad. And overall, I just thought, you know, if it goes south or west, whatever the saying is, that I will I can always just cover it up with a license plate in the front. Which, I mean, I really didn't want a license plate in the front from the beginning, which is why I'm doing all this. But I thought I have to try, like I have to do it. Just like the DIY person in me, I was like, I have to do it. So I did it, and as you can see here, I'm using like this piece of just like random scrap that I got from the floor. I used it to kind of make like cut out like a rectangle shape so that I can epoxy it to the back of the bumper so that it has some like reinforcement for when I fill in the hole. So that's what I did. I use JB Weld. Here I'm showing you. I use like all this kind of resin and things like that. So that's just kind of the stuff we had laying around, and I just didn't want to wait. So yeah, so that's what I used. You'll see a little bit more clips later on. But I moved on to the bumper. So here we have, I was removing all the wiring that the bumper had because it had rear sensors, rear parking sensors. So I was just removing them and just prepping it to make the cut. So yeah, so then I just went ahead and cut it out. I measured it, I did everything, and it turned out pretty good. Okay, so while I was doing that, Jason was working on getting the M3 control arms on the front subframe for the car. So as you can see here, he also painted the custom engine mounts that he made, and it just looks so perfect. I'm so happy. Alright guys, I'm back, and as you can see here, I finished adding the plate to the back and I let that dry. So now it's ready to fill in. I taped it up, as you can see here, and I filled it in. So I let that dry overnight so I'm able to sand it the next day. And here you see me sanding the whole bumper and pretty much everything else that I needed to sand. Alright, so here's a couple days later after a lot of sanding. This is how the front bumper came out. You could see it a little bit where I filled it in, but overall I was very happy with it. I still needed to sand a little bit more, so this is not the final product. I think I do show the final product, but overall, like, doesn't this look amazing? Once you know all the paint is on it, I thought it would be a lot better, so you'll see that in a little bit. So as you can see here, I have this spoiler, and I filled in the little indent for the emblem. I'll put like a picture like right here of what it used to look like. So yeah, some of y'all might think like, why are you spending time doing that, blah blah blah, but I feel like it's the little mods that make the car look a lot better. That's why I took the time to do that. So now it's just ready to be primed. Oh, I forgot, I also have this trunk handle that I have to sand and prime as well, and then cover all this back section off, since I don't want to take it off because it usually breaks when you take this back part apart. So I'm just going to tape it really good and we should be ready. So here's an update. I primed everything. I still need to sand it back down with the 600, and I should be good and ready for paint. Here's all the trim. Here's the side skirts and the trunk latch or trunk handle. It's right there. And here we have the trunk. Now I'll wait for everything to dry, and then I'll sand it with 600 grit, and then I'll be ready to go get painted. So finally done. I'm excited and I'm tired. Alright everyone, so it's many days later, but finally everything is painted. Here's the front bumper. Here's how it turned out. It's really smooth from where I filled it in, so I'm really happy with that. As you can see, perfect. I love the paint. Shop Life TV did a very good job. So the paint came out really nice. This is like before wet sanding or anything. And here's the back bumper as well. I still have to put the trim on, and obviously still put it on the car, but I will be doing that in the next video. Here are the side skirts. Here's some of the trim. I think the trim came out perfect as well, which I'm happy about. I almost forgot to tell you guys about the trunk. So the trunk is already on the car. I don't want to bring it down and all that, but basically I filled in the brakes that the trunk had, so everything's smooth and nice. I'm so happy how it turned out. But yeah, everything's good with the trunk. Just wanted to let you guys know. And I also put tires on my temporary set wheels. Maybe I might keep them, might just have to refinish them and things like that, but I really like them. This is a square setup. As you can see, they came off a E92 M3. So the next video is when we will be installing all these parts. But anyways, this is it for this video. Make sure to subscribe, turn your post notifications on, and the next video will be me installing the parts on the car and getting the car back on the road.